Guess what time it is?
It's time for small potatoes.
Where we give you a naughty tease of our latest Patreon episode.
Be sure to subscribe. Links are in the description. I wonder, is this coming from a place of delusion or is it an insecurity of being stigmatized? Like it could be coming from many places. I do appreciate that she did say that it may be an unpopular opinion. So I think she has an awareness that although this is how she feels, the greater majority of people won't agree with her.
Well, that should be her first clue.
Right.
I think majority always wins, but her majority is always right. But it should be a point of self-reflection.
Mhm.
And if you're right that it is a stigma that she's kind of internalized, well,
Yeah.
then therein lies where the therapist needs to work,
Right.
because that projecting that onto others is not okay. And there comes in the idea of privilege. If you put yourself up here and shooting downwards, you are pushing down the workers in other sectors that you are judging and pointing a finger at. You're putting a scarlet letter on people that are already wearing about 5 or 6 scarlet letters. And
Mhm.
so who are you to say that you are above this? Even if
Mhm.
there's a term, like we talk about terminology a lot on this pod because it matters and interpretation can vary person to person, right? Which is strange because facts don't vary, but
Mhm.
definitions can. At the same time, I think there's a difference between the world, let's say, moving from calling everybody hookers to calling people sex workers, because we're moving for a more dignified and respectful, all encompassing term, as opposed to something that again separates and pushes marginalized people further away. Sex worker is all encompassing, adult industry is all encompassing, but the fact that the first word that she threw out was prostitution, as if she has never been a part, I was
Mhm.
like, come again. There is no more literal position to hold in the adult industry as a sex worker than
Mhm.
being a porn star, where you literally get paid to have the sex.
Yes.
You are more sex work than sex work itself. Like, there is no way to be it more than to be a porn star. There are strippers that have never done penetrative acts. There are cam girls and sugar babies and all kinds of people that deny that they're a sex worker because it may not be in person or may not be penetrative sex or it may not this, that, and the other thing. But you literally go to work to fuck, lady.
Right. Bold and
Tera Patrick,
underlined.
get it together. It's
Yeah.
like
Well,
you can
but you
see
know
I'm
what?
getting red.
I knew this would come up and be handy. So I actually Googled, not that I wasn't aware, but the exact definition of prostitution. So let me start
Mm.
by reading that to you. Um, it is the exchange of sexual service for money. It can be, but is not limited to sexual activity with a customer that requires physical contact.
1,000%.
Yes.
Like lawyer Riley just rested her case right there. She needed done deal. Like
Right.
Tera Patrick's case is dismissed. Like
Yeah.
you don't pass go and you don't collect $200 there, Tera Patrick. I'm sorry, because that is exactly it. And so she came back with her little rebuttal tweet, which I'm going to read now. And again, turned off all her comments and mentions and replies. So no one could reply to it. Of course, a bunch of people quote tweeted it, and we will get to some of those in a few minutes. But it's like she just took her shovel and just kept taking her hole all by herself. So I'm not denouncing anyone who chooses that facet of sex work, but it is nowhere near the many other types of work that is adult related. And the umbrella term sex work gives me the ick. So she contradicts herself immensely in this,
Mhm.
because choosing a facet of sex work means that they all are
Our
sex
sex
work.
work.
And if you chose the facet of porn, then okay. But you chose that facet of sex work. Listen, you don't
Right.
have to like the expression. There's lots of escorts and such that call themselves companions and providers and all kinds of lady of the night, call
Right.
girl, cam girl. Like there's exotic dancer, erotic masseuse. Like there's so
Right.
many terms, and yet they all live under this one umbrella called sex work. Let's be fucking serious
I'm
now,
really getting
because
rage.
it's so harmful. And the irony of this is that when it comes push to shove, which for anyone in sex work means the law, because
Mhm.
that is our biggest fight, our biggest challenge, and our biggest hindrance to safety and equality, is absolutely insane at a time in society where lawmakers in especially Western countries are coming for the porn industry hard. We've been
Right.
keeping an eye on some of the changes throughout, especially America and a bit of Europe right now. And those that have gone completely legal are living happily and peaceful in their, legal Australia, Berlin, Amsterdam, places with legal red light districts, legal brothels, are living peacefully. And then the other parts of the Western world are all coming for the porn stars. They're adding restrictions in entire states where you can't even access Pornhub. They're coming for the ID verification. I know I just sent you an article
Right.
on that about people have to show Face ID like you log into your phone
Mhm.
to get onto certain sites. And so the law is coming for them. Listen,
Right.
those same lawmakers may not love a streetwalker or may not love the strip club down the street in their neighborhood, but they're not on a mission right now to shut down all the strip clubs. They're on a
Mhm.
mission to try to eliminate porn. And
Right.
so when if Tera Patrick was in the midst of her prime and in her career and still actively regularly working, that means your job is on the line. That means your
Right.
livelihood, your ability to operate freely and legally is about to be completely eliminated. And the
Mhm.
first people who should be crying about that is porn stars.
Yeah.
And would you then expect all of us to come support you? Would you
Right.
expect all the same lawyers, and whether it's the lawmakers, the lawyers, the advisors, the professors, and like all the experts that are coming in that would defend the pro sex workers work, the pro deregulation of sex work and legality? Do you expect them to come support you too? Do you expect to
Mhm.
hire them and have what, friendly conversations after you've just denied that we exist or that you're somehow better than us? And when they're coming for you, people sometimes don't care about politics until it comes for them,
Right.
right? It affects them immediately. And this is exactly in a real life, real time, right now situation. To denounce all the rest of us takes away also the power that porn stars have, because they are public. They have a lot more legal like muscle to work with.
Mhm.
They have their own associations and people that fight for porn rights, through the AIDS pandemic, through the big condom distribution, through
Mhm.
all kinds of different things that have changed the regulations of porn on film sex work. And then what are the rest of us supposed to do when those
Right.
resources aren't available, right?
Mhm.
And it's always the most marginalized that are going to be harmed the most of these realities. We are equally privileged. We're in a licensed portion or facet of the industry,
Right.
and we do have that protection of bylaws. We do have the protection of the fact that we have lawyers. We can
Mhm.
afford lawyers. We have and we do fight the law all the time in terms of mounting change, wanting amendments, wanting progression. And it just boggles my brain, because what happens 6 months from now when a bunch of porn stars are out of work and they're leaning to their senior, examples, mentors, leaders, and other people in the industry, retired or otherwise, that are going to say what? What is this chick
Mhm.
going to say when her industry is muscled? Like
Mhm.
when it becomes illegal, even in your own home, to film pornography. Like
Yeah.
it makes my brain and my empathy hurt, because how have you spent this long in the industry? This woman's been in the business at least 10 years,
Yeah.
and to come out the other side with no empathy is beyond me. I think sex workers in general see more of humanity than most people, and that would even be in a controlled situation like a film set, because there is behind the scenes, there is off
Mhm.
stage, off camera, all those kind of things. You still have to prep to come to work. You still have a mental breakdown after work. It's still the same fucking thing
Mhm.
all the time. You're fucking a stranger. You're putting your body on the line. You're risking your health safety, your mental safety, your well being to produce art. And listen, we are all actresses. We are
Right.
all part of a business that is created on illusion. It's like Hollywood. It is. This must be like the Actors Guild fights about when the actress on strike because it makes no sense. It just don't put like the set people below the actors. Like everyone is part of the program, and this kind of judgment just harms absolutely everybody.
Well, and I
So on
think
that
in
note,
sex work is a community, and that's the part I like, I think, the most about it. And I think with her putting out a statement like that, especially having a platform she has, is she divides the community, and that's harmful. I'm all for you
absolutely.
identifying and naming yourself what you're comfortable with. And we've seen this even with, let's say, strippers. Some like strippers or dancers or exotic dancers, like, or a performer, exotic performer. Like there's variations of how you can identify, but to completely be disillusioned that you are not a part of a community that you should be proud to be a part of is what I
Right.
think hurts those around her.
Especially someone, listen, porn stars are more public. Their
Hmm.
face is out there.
Yeah.
You can Google her on Wikipedia. It says her real name and her parents' names. Like
Right.
she's already out there.
Hmm.
She's in a powerful position to influence change, to bring community together, and to be a leader in so many respects that will help not just all sex workers, but even baby porn stars just
Hmm.
starting. Like, teach people the right frames of mind and the right way to analyze their experiences so as to strengthen them going forward. So that when there is a legal crisis, it's easy for us all to pull together because we've already
Hmm.
built those relationships. There's already a trust there. This fractures so much trust. It's actually
Hmm.
frightening because who's coming to any of the assumption it's harming other porn stars because we're going to assume we all think
It
the
creates
same. Like
divide, right?
it really is. And it weakens any group of sectors. Listen, politicians use that tool all the time to separate communities because us against them is a lot easier when you
Yeah.
have a common enemy, right? And so it leads to more of the stigma that she's trying to denounce in the first place.